the Property Pod. Welcome to the Property Pod with Moneyweb. The property sector is an ever-changing sector. And in this podcast series, your host, Suren Naidu, chats to movers and shakers in the property industry.
Hello and welcome to the Property Pod, South Africa's premier weekly property investor podcast. My name is Suren Naidu, and on this Moneyweb show, we gain insider insights from leading CEOs, analysts, developers, and entrepreneurs in South Africa's dynamic real estate sector. As mentioned last week, with it being Women's Month in South Africa, for the month of August, we will be profiling top women in the property industry. On this week's episode, we have secured a big interview with arguably one of the most seasoned women in SA's property sector. She has over a quarter of a century of leadership experience in property. She's the former president of SAPOA, as well as the SA Council of Shopping Centres, and also holds a RICS fellowship. She's none other than Marna van der Walt, the CEO of unlisted but major property group Accelerate Property Services, which is based out of Johannesburg but has a presence across South Africa and several countries in Africa. It has a number of divisions as well, and some of you might be aware outside the property industry, that is, of brands like GHI, which are part of the group that she heads. Welcome to the Property Pod, Marna van der Walt.
Thank you. It's a privilege to be here. I'm not used to doing this anymore.
Yes, I'm so happy. I don't know when you've done an interview, but to get you on the podcast is a coup of sorts, so I really appreciate it. You are currently Chief Executive of Accelerate Property Services, as I mentioned, and you've been in this role for about 12 years. Prior to that, CEO of GHI for another 10 years. And I believe one-time CEO of Gensec Properties. It could have been taken over by Growthpoint or one of the other listed funds. But Marna, what have you been up to recently at Accelerate? You've been quite publicly, but the group is quite a big group and continues to grow.
I think for us, it's all about property services. Just to correct, Gensec was not taken over by Growthpoint. It was the Gensec that was part of the Sanlam structure.
Okay.
So as you know, I started my career at Sanlam Properties. Very proud of my roots that's coming from there. Good corporate governance in the role is what they taught me, and stewardship. But I'm living out my dream of being entrepreneurial and building things and being creative and building things. So we're about building solutions for our client base. Over the years, the client base have expanded, as you are well aware. And yes, correctly, we do property services in Africa as well as in the Middle East, and lesser known, we've got quite a big cleaning company in the UK as well. That's part of our greater group. What I've been doing, very much building up the different service lines, very much focusing on our partnership with CBRE, in which we've created CBRE Accelerate, which is a facility management and advisory and transaction firm operating in the Middle East and in Africa, and also having the privilege to have exposure to global clients and your enterprise clients, which has given me a very different perspective, not just working for the landlord, but working for the occupier of space as well.
Marna, I didn't realize that it's extended to the Middle East and even the UK, but broadly speaking, how many people do you employ? I know you're not listed, so you can't talk how much money you make, but you manage quite a big portfolio as well of properties. Maybe adding a figure around that will give us a little bit of context. People in the industry know the company, but Moneyweb has readers and listeners of all industries.
So I would say in Africa and the Middle East, we employ around 15,000 staff members directly. In the UK, it's in the region of it's in excess of 10,000 staff members that we've got there, closer to 12,000. And then on the size of the portfolio, it's harder to quantify because we're not only doing property management, we're also working for an array of occupier of spaces, and the likes of your pharmaceutical groups, your banking groups, global banking groups. So it's harder to place a value on the assets under management these days.
Okay, but I'm pretty sure it goes into the billions.
Definitely. We trust, but that's our role, trusted advisors. privileged to be part of tailoring the solutions for them that works and being creative and doing things differently. These days we deploy a lot of technology in such as AI being most AI now marking our scorecard whether something is clean or good. Also automation. We're working hard to systematize the environment and to find a currency, a narrative that we can talk to our clients with that prove that we are delivering value and that we cost conscious and things like cleaning and other services are demand led, no longer just a monthly charge to your P&L for a client of ours.
Thanks for that insight because, it might seem technical. Property people will know about it, but prop tech is a big thing. So AI is affecting and disrupting a lot of industries, and property is one of them. Marna, I'm glad to have secured this interview with you this week as it comes in the week that the SA Council of Shopping Centres Congress took place in Cape Town. How was business there? It seems the retail property sector is booming. I know you're not just in retail, but the group has quite a big presence in this sector. You were a president of the council, and you manage some big assets or are involved with the likes of Sandton City Gateway and other big shopping centres.
It was great. It's absolutely booming. It's pumping. There's an energy in retail. All of us that's women know that we've got a special attraction to it. And I don't think that most people know, but we also have a company called EBM, which is a brand management company that has been done amazing work in the brand repositioning of shopping centers and assets. And that creates a brand persona. And from there, we then leverage off the shopper profiling, the social media profiling. So to me, shopping centre still remains the core of property. It's absolutely the heartbeat of the economy, and it's where you get in touch with the consumers. So it was great to be there. You would have known they've broken 2 records, one being the most members they've ever had, and the other one the most delegates at the conference. So good to see that it's going strong, and also the emphasis and the trends, which is all about experiences for the consumer, creating those experiences, talking about it, the engagement to the consumer and the shopper. So interesting things happening also in retail and the creativity that the retailers have got in communicating and positioning them going forward. So no longer is the topic just around online retail and is it killing the physical world? No, it's a fusion of a physical and online. That's what it's about.
Thanks for that insight. I wasn't at the conference, but it's great to hear that it had that record numbers. It means that property is on the up. We've seen it reflected in property stocks and that sort of thing. But turning to Women's Month now, since it's Women's Month in South Africa, we try not to be too cliche, but it's an opportunity to profile CEOs at the top end like yourself. How has it been for you as a woman in the property industry and rising up to the very top?
I had the privilege to start or the deficit when there was very few females. So there was hardly any different judgment when it comes. You just had to prove yourself in a man's world. And ultimately, when I look back at it, I think actually it was to my benefit because you competed the same way as what a man would compete. You had to have a man of courage to give you an opportunity to do so. And in my life, I've had many such supporters that was betting on me, backing me to actually make the difference. But once they let you lose as a female, you actually have got the added benefit that you've got your sixth sense, you've got your intuition, you're tuned into your sensitive side. And I encourage women not to be women. Be a woman in the role that you fulfill. And a strong tree with your branches into your family, into your workplace, into your community, make a difference in all of those aspects. Keep yourself healthy and whole, and that is where you will find your balance. To me, it's relatively easy. I actually listened to some of the podcasts, and that you did. The one that actually really came to mind is Jackie's from Attack, and that says you have to find what you really want to do and then live that out. You have to dream it first and then you will deliver it, and you will find your path in delivering it. It's not about having it all. You never can have it all. It's about finding what's important enough for you as a person to drive towards.
Thank you for that, Marna. Nice insight there and passion, a little bit of Ubuntu. I get the sense there, very South African focused leadership, talking about a tree, almost like a baobab. Marna, how did you get into property? Can you share some of your history and how you rose up the ranks? Because it's been a long time and you're still doing good things in the industry.
Yeah, I started off as the internal auditor at Sanlam Properties way back in 93, just after my stint at Sasol and my articles at KPMG. I'm an accountant by training, and I quickly realized that I need to be creative and to build things, whether that's property or people, and creating solutions for clients. It's all being tapped into my creative sides and into my building things side. And that's just where I started. Was head of internal audit, find the mistake, fix it, and then report on it, and defend management in the process. Then they said, it can't work, let's make you head of finance. From there, I begged them to allow me to sell the services when Sanlam started changing focus. After a few laughs, I eventually got to that spot as well. In 2003, I became CEO of the then Gensec Property Services, and then the opportunity to do a management buyout. My engagement in about 28, 29 with Accelerate Property Services to bring them in as partners, and just continuously finding opportunities to grow and to build and to collect people and make strong teams and strong client relationships. To me, it's about relationships.
On women empowerment, what are your views? It seems like quite a broad question, but perhaps you want to share some insight or advice to a young woman who wants to rise up to the top of the corporate world like you have.
I love doing that. I find it as a very humbling experience. And I want to say to them, get the highest possible qualification that you're capable of. Make debt to get quality education. Nobody can ever take your education away from you. Then find any role, start at the lowest level and prove yourself. Yes, there's a lot of proving in anybody's career, not only in a woman's career. Prove yourself, work hard, find the work ethic, apply common sense and be streetwise, things that's not that common in the industry or in any work environment. And don't look all the time at what's in it for me as an individual, rather how I can contribute to the team. You will not be able to keep a good man or a good woman down. You will make the progress in your career once you've put the input into it. And if your company doesn't see you, more than welcome to come and have a chat to us. We're definitely into building people and developing talent. It's like the story of a butterfly. That's all we're about. And that's my advice. Good qualification, a strong work ethic, and shoulder to the wheel.
Now, you mentioned the management buyout and how the group has grown as Accelerate, but we talked about women empowerment, another big topic. It's getting a bit of flack at the moment, but on the BE front, it seems that you are a supporter of transformation. I looked at your website and I see that Accelerate Property Services has a strong empowerment credentials. How important is BE for you and the property industry, would you say?
To me, BE is very important. At the same way as where we operate in the UAE, Emiratization is very important to us. The same way as what we find it in Namibia, and the same way as what we find it in Kuwait and at Algeria now. People in a smaller world like South Africa make the mistake to think that it's a South African only topic. It's not. It's a global topic. So it's all about global excellence, local relevance. And for you to grow as an organization within a country and in a community, you have to be supportive of that community and that country. You can't feed and not feed the nation. So that's where it is. And I think that's our principle. So any environment, country, geographical area where we operate, we respect and the local communities that we operate, and we endeavor to grow and achieve these targets that's set by government.
On that note, do you want to share some insight on the level of BE the company has and a little bit about the ownership? Not detail, but just to give, there are some things that were mentioned on the website that you are welcome to highlight.
So yes, we are, I think, in the region of about a 65% black-owned firm. Yes, we are 30% women, but also in our staff structures, people forget there's 7 pillars that you have to achieve: procurement, your employment equity, your skills development, your enterprise development. So we're very much supportive of all 7 pillars, and that's how we achieve our targets. But more than just saying it, it's about doing it. We've got good examples with Accelerate Services, which is our soft services company, doing cleaning and security, hygiene services, pest, all of those, where we actually work with the areas where our cleaners are coming from and then do communal gardens with them. And those are even the better stories for me than the statistics that sits on the scorecard. It's where it's real and practical and you actually make a difference in a community.
Marna, what's next for you and perhaps Accelerate Property Services? Any major developments or expansions on the radar? Possibly a JSE listing? The reason I ask, I think a few years ago I heard you say that Accelerate is like a Bidvest of sorts, because you have all these different companies that you are involved with and there are services that are in demand.
I think Bidvest is in a way different league than us. We might be aspiring, but we're far from them. I think we want to be good to our partners. We really respect CBRE as our partner. It's a good partnership that we formed there 5 years ago. We're also in partnership with all our clients. And I think for us, the future is about organic growth and also about growing our management structures. As we are experiencing quite accelerated growth, it's important for us to grow the people with that within our corporate structures. So it's about growing the people and it's about growing our partnerships with our current clients and our future clients.
So you're going to remain at Accelerate and take it to an even greater level?
I'm definitely planning to retire at Accelerate. Hopefully I don't die in the job. So I'm just under 6. I'm 57 years old, you can know. So there is still some run in me and definitely planning to make a difference. High level of energy, but also want to make sure that the next layer is ready to take it and to grow it to even bigger than what we are. I know you've met and you know Akash quite well. My other group CEO on CBRE Accelerate side is Russell, who is also an awesome guy but new in his role and actually growing from there with a management team that's scattered all over the Middle East and Africa. But it's fun times. Really enjoy what we're doing at this stage.
Marna, you're still young and we look forward to having you in the industry for a lot longer. But thank you for your time. I appreciate your time on the podcast. That was Marna van der Walt, the CEO of Accelerate Property Services.
Thanks for listening to the Moneyweb Property Pod with Suren Naidu. To listen to more episodes, go to moneyweb.co.za or the Moneyweb app and follow Moneyweb News for daily updates. Follow Suren on Twitter @Suren Naidu for more of his property industry content and other business stories. The Property Pod.